Welcome to your magical moon message. This is the Peace Dealer, and hot diggity dog, it is activation time. Activation, Aries moon time, Capricorn sun, baby. It is activation time. It's not time for activation. No, that's Cap moon, Aries sun. It is activation time. This is if your superpowers, which is really more so an analogy for the self-actualization of your being, due to the decade-long conquest of your actual self. Well, it is time to take the car that's now out the shop, right? We beta tested it with Saturn in Aquarius last year, 2020, this year really. And then we went back to the shop when Saturn retrograded back into Capricorn. You know what I'm saying? Okay, now it's out the shop. Now we're done beta testing, it's out the shop. Mars is direct. Got my fly ass shades on right now. I'm about to actually activate my fly ass whip, my vehicle. Okay? Not vehicle, it's vehicle. You've been saying it wrong your whole life. That's what you're gonna realize about these pals. You're doing stuff a little bit wrong. Like paying car insurance so you can fly. But outside of that, okay? Congratulations. This is the harvest of the cumulative work you've put in your whole life. So you're either magically waiting for superpowers to sprout. I shit you not. Your adventure begins. Oh, it says where your adventure begins, but you're probably waiting for superpowers to sprout, or you've been cultivating your superpowers and now you harvesting that work. The energy I feel with this square is you don't have to do it, it's doing you. I was like, what am I gonna call this? And then the name just showed itself to me. And it's that unconscious aspect of yourself that guides you consciously. And so for those of you who get tripped out overthinking that you need to know what to do for a power that represents a higher aspect of you, you may want to just let it take the driver's seat, or actualize as it. But that's the best part about this. It's activation time, baby. We've already flipped that switch, but now we're manifesting the results of flipping the switch. Activation. And just remember, everything that activates for you is activating for and with you at an initial level. In some cases, I truly believe that Sagittarius is the true first zodiac sign. If you think about, outside of this third dimensional reality, where Aries naturally be the first. But outside of that, now that we are 30 degrees Sagittarius, you're coming into the full 100% loaded screen of this aspect, of this experience and function of power. The moon is connecting with Aries, moon and Chiron. It's actually amazing because Venus is going to be trining Chiron and the moon in Aries. That's going to aid this sensation and experience of activation with the highest joy, so that you can get the right understanding and meaning to take more authentic direction. In other words, this activation is gonna feel fucking badass, and you're gonna feel awesome as shit. How to translate. So outside of that, even more so, this is where Neptune in Pisces takes this element of fantasy and your imagination and just ramps this up to a higher divine level. Oh wow, that Neptune in Capricorn synchronicity. These Neptune, these synchronicities are just like wow. But outside of that, it's I keep on saying outside of that because you're outside of this construct, but outside of that is remarkable because you wanna consider that after this activation square, okay, it's the first quarter square after the new moon just ascended us through the cycle. This is the check where the integrity of what it is time to step forward with is being matched with our authenticity. Our authenticity, that's gonna immediately ground into Taurus, go over Uranus, and we get busy, baby. It's gonna be electric. Think about it. When you activate it, then electricity corals before you experience it. That's Aries, Taurus, and Gemini. So this is gonna be a full body activation. And this is very misleading because what you're activating is not superpowers for the first time. The fact that you see synchronicities means that you've always had abilities since birth, but what you're activating is the new frontier deep in your genetics that weaves, as above so below, spirit and your body through soul. And you're stepping into, let's just say, a collective and intergalactic firmware update. So you already have superpowers, but now your body has just completed and finished downloading a firmware update in your consciousness, taking your superpowers to the next level. It's like every single human consciousness, well, living being, every single being has now updated their firmware from like Windows 98, that's a horrible analogy, to like Windows 10. So like, you'll see it reflected in the technology, but it's less about the abilities that you've always had and more about the actualization of who you are. Aries is gonna have you feel into your raw identity, and your sun in Cap is going to make you aware of the highest reality of that. So we have 0 degrees Cap, we have 0 degrees Saturn and Jupiter, we have 0 degrees Moon in Aries. This conjunction happening at 30 degrees Capricorn is the full-on completion and actualization of the greatest power that you are. Claim it, call it. This activation is going to be a collective activation cycle. So you don't necessarily want to see it as just one thing that happens. It's more so an event that occurs and sustains, kind of like the apocalypse cycle that has started March 21st. Now we're reaching a completion of that initial cycle, which is going to see a lot of things go pop, pop, boom, boom, snap, snap, doom, doom, in the best and worst of ways, because if life has nothing, it has duality. I really don't know what else to say because this is all 0 degree newness. In a lot of ways, this might really be the new year before Aries, because what's ending is an old model of taking action. And very deep within you, your relationship with energy is going to change. There's a new feeling that you're going to draw into this new cycle. You'll feel it, especially for those of you who practice like retention in your life force. The moon over Aries is gonna make you horny, but like if you like funnel and channel that, it's gonna definitely shortcut the acceleration of this. Think spiritual quickenings, think Shazam lightning. This is definitely going to denote activations that by the time you've watched this, you've already activated. It's just hard for me to say because many of you aren't activating anything new. You're just activating something you're really good at doing at like a higher level. And some of you be treating your superpowers like they're normal powers. Some of you can like freestyle. and don't even know that's a superpower. And so on a day like today, it's like you can freestyle Super Saiyan now. So you've always had the superpower, but now you can freestyle while having sex or playing a guitar or something like that. And wow. But other than that, there's also a supernatural element of this that is set to change your life. And this is where we get to grounding the individuality of this collective God force within the uniqueness of you. And you have to play a little game with yourself called no one has to fucking understand my own uniqueness because it's my own uniqueness. And if you leave that suppressed, which is the challenge of the Capricorn square, instead of actualizing this, which is a sacrifice, a theme of this square is some of you are going to step into this power, maybe at the sacrifice of individuals who've been suppressing this aspect of yourself. And you want to confront all of these mechanisms because this is what's going to completely break you through all the inhibitions holding you back from activating. The best part of this, though, is the sun in Capricorn is 30 degrees exactly semi-sextiling, activating this conjunction. So you're also manifesting something new that represents the completion and understanding of everything you've ever been practicing. Case in point, let's say it takes you 20 minutes to call up on, energies, read certain cards, or if you don't like reading cards, praying, meditating, to come into an awareness. And over the past 20 years, you've honed this as the ability to kind of like come into this sense of clairvoyance. And the past 2 years, you've been able to speed that process up to like 5 minutes. While this conjunction not only makes you have that instantly, but with the Aquarian energy, you know how to utilize that in a collective way practically. You know how to make that not something that's like some wooey spiritual gift. And you know how to use that in a way where now the Pentagon is wanting to hire you because it's like, hey, we can really use these skills to help the nation. Collective. X-Men. Men in Black. My bad. Aliens. My bad. Other than that, I don't really know what else to say because we're literally running off a new system, program, paradigm. Who really cares at this point? But y'all stay blessed as always. And every power has a name. So really look into the definition of what you're activating. Until next time.